Israel's fierce reaction today against this agreement only confirms the validity of what we've done. We said to Israel, your threats will not scare us. We're determined to get our freedom and to change the balance of power with our unity and our resistance. The American position is very surprising. They either did not read the agreement or they do not want the Palestinian people to be united. In either case, this is a mistake. If they read the agreement, they would know that the government will be a government of technocrats and independents.
Brett Baer in Washington. Peace talks between the Israelis and the Palestinians are dead, at least for now. That announcement today from Israel. Joining us now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, to tell us why he believes the situation is so perilous for his people. Mr. Prime Minister, thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Were you surprised by this accord?
On a bad day, I have to say. Yes, I was. This pact with Hamas, a terrorist organization committed to our destruction, that condemned the United States for killing bin Laden. That's who Hamas is. That's the organization that the Palestinian president Abbas embraced. I was hoping that he would embrace peace with Israel. Instead, he chose a pact with Hamas, and that effectively is what is killing peace. And I hope he changes his mind, because the only way we can move forward is to have partners who are committed to living with Israel and not killing the state of Israel.
Is the peace process officially dead?
If he continues with the pact with Hamas, he's essentially buried it. You know, he was wading in the water of the Rubicon. I had hoped that he would cross it and recognize the Jewish state. I had said that peace requires mutual recognition of the Jewish state of Israel and the Palestinian state. A few days ago, we got signs that something was wrong, because he said, I won't even negotiate recognizing a Jewish state. And now, several days later, he's basically taken not a small step backward, a giant leap backward, and embraced one of the preeminent terrorist organizations of our time, committed to the annihilation of the Jewish state, committed in its charter to the murder of Jews wherever they are.
Obviously, the U.S. and Israel characterize Hamas as a terrorist organization, but how would you assess the state of Hamas as a terrorist organization? Is it bigger? Is it better than it was a year ago, 5 years ago? Or is it weakened, and that is a sign of what this accord was about?
Well, first of all, in those years, they fired about 10,000 rockets and missiles on our cities, on our children, on our schools. They dig tunnels in order to send suicide bombers and kidnappers and terrorists into our communities. Tunnels between the seam line of Gaza and the state of Israel. They are involved in terror organizations everywhere, including in the West Bank. So they've not relented one bit on their terror activities. It hasn't changed their animosity to the United States of America. You know, they oppose us, but they say that we're just a small Satan. The U.S., is the big Satan. And it's the big Satan they hate.
Mr. Prime Minister, this is what the chief negotiator for the Palestinians had to say. Quote, Mr. Netanyahu and his government were using Palestinian division as an excuse not to make peace. Now they want to use Palestinian reconciliation as an excuse for the same purpose. This is utterly absurd. The only logical conclusion is that Netanyahu's government does not want peace.
Well, you know, they can do intellectual somersaults from here to eternity, but it doesn't change the fact that they chose to make a pact with the people committed to our destruction, and that doesn't square away with peace. You know, you want to make peace, then don't embrace terrorists who want to destroy the state of Israel. And there's no two ways about it. They can talk. They can't talk their way through this. It's a blow to Israel. It's a blow to peace. I'll tell you something. I think, Brett, it's a terrible blow to the Palestinian people, because they must choose, too, whether they want to go forward or go backward. Yesterday, with a pact with Hamas, the Palestinian people took a huge step backward, away from peace, away from a good future for themselves.
Israel is suspending peace negotiations with the Palestinians. The announcement comes in response to Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas's unity agreement with Hamas Islamists. CCTV's Stephanie Freed reports the news set off a wave of responses.
Peace talks with the Palestinians are frozen. That's the news from Israel's government in response to this announcement that came out of Gaza a day earlier.
We are now announcing to all Palestinians inside and outside of Palestine that we are ending the misunderstanding between Fatah and Hamas. We are ending our years of conflict.
Hamas and Fatah, the Palestinian factions controlling Gaza and the West Bank, have been feuding for nearly 7 years. They have announced reconciliation deals in the past. None have come to fruition. Mere minutes after the agreement was announced, Israel's Air Force struck in Gaza. The target? Wanted militants. 4 were injured. The intended victims escaped. Within hours, Gaza militants launched rockets at Israel. After a 6-hour emergency security cabinet session in Tel Aviv, the decision was made to suspend peace negotiations with the Palestinian Authority. Israel's government has long maintained that any collaborative deal between the two factions spells the end of peace negotiations with the Palestinian Authority. The reason? Hamas does not recognize the State of Israel. Furthermore, Israel's leaders refer to Hamas as a murderous terrorist organization calling for Israel's destruction. Israel's government wasn't the only body unimpressed with the news of unity.
It's hard to see how Israel can be expected to negotiate with a government that does not believe in its right to exist.
In the face of Hamas and Fatah reunification, both Israel and the United States may impose economic restrictions on the Palestinian Authority, and Israel may introduce retaliatory security measures. Earlier this month, Israel froze $100 million in tax transfers to the Palestinian Authority, a sum that reportedly makes up 2/3 of the authority's revenue. Stephanie Free, CCTV, Tel Aviv, Israel.